You are an autistic person. You are on the autism spectrum. Okay. And if you are not, then this message is not for you. Okay. Anyway, you just recently found out that you are on the autism spectrum. And ever since you found this out, you have been having to look back at situations from your past, things that have happened to you, how people have treated you. And you're really starting to see it with a different lens. And you're seeing, like, wow, a lot of what I went through that I wasn't really aware of what was happening was based off of my autism. So it's almost as if, like, you're kind of having to reheal yourself from those wounds because, like, you're seeing it for what it was, not for what you thought it was. Okay. So basically, what has happened is that these people that you were, friends with, you did a lot of overgiving in this situation. And you were like, yes, you had autism, but you also were like a people pleaser at the time where you were constantly just giving and giving because you really just wanted to have people around you. You just wanted to have friends because you couldn't understand why people couldn't understand you, why you just struggled to maintain friends. So you just would had did anything at that time just to keep those friends around you. But what happened is that these people tolerated you, okay? They thought that you were a cool person, you know, but at the same time, they did notice that something was off about you socially, and they couldn't really pick up on what it was, but they just felt that something was just off, right? And they may have said things to you like they may have called you weird, or they may have called you just like socially awkward, or whatever the case was. But the thing with autism is beyond awkward. It's autism. It's a disability when it comes to interacting socially. But because these people could tell that something was off about you socially, but they really just could not put their finger on it, like autism was not the word that came across their mind. They just knew something was off. And what they did, which was very wrong, and this is the reality that you have to face, baby. What they did that was so wrong was they took advantage of you in that situation because they could see this, like, they are not aware of what's happening. They are not aware of what I'm doing. They're not catching on. They're not getting the hint. So let me just use this situation to my advantage. Let me just take advantage of them because these people were cowards. They did not have power over themselves. They did not have power over their own life. They basically felt the need to gain power in a situation, so they went after the weakest link. And we're not saying that you're not a weak person. I'm not saying that you are a weak person because you're very, very strong, but because you just did not understand things socially, they looked at you as like the weakest link. And they used you to their advantage, to take advantage of you, to feel empowered, to just basically have you just constantly catering to them. And they had no interest in ever reciprocating the same exact love or just treatment that you were giving them in this friendship. They never intended to reciprocate all that you were giving to them. They really just wanted to take. These people that you were in friendships with were very spoiled. They were very bratty. They were very entitled. These are the type of people where they got everything that they wanted growing up. They always were like their parents spoiled them and coddled them. So it got to a point where they felt that everybody else had to treat them the same way as well. So they would cling on to friendships or cling on to relationships where people were catering to them because that's how they felt that they needed to be treated. Like, you're supposed to cater to me. I'm entitled to this without reciprocating in return. So what happened is they loved what you were doing for them. They loved how you always showed up for them. They loved all the favors you did for them. They loved all of the times you gave to them. They loved everything that you did for them. That's what they loved. And they more so loved that. They loved that more than they loved you. And it got to a point where you really started to see these people for their true colors when you started to pull your energy back. Because eventually, what happened is that you started to go through some, like, a spiritual awakening within yourself. You started to really, like, go through like this dark night of the soul. You were going through like a depression. You were really going through a lot of mental health issues, and you pulled your energy away from everybody, and you were just focusing on yourself. And when you had pulled your energy back, you were no longer around these people. You were not the same person showing up in this friendship that you were before, because you were changing. And that's when you saw these people's true colors, because you were always there for them, but when it was time for them to be there for you, they weren't there for you. And then when things were getting tough for you and you were already down, these people kicked you while you were down, because pure these people never really had pure, genuine intentions for you. They only liked what you gave them. And life will reveal the people that are truly for you when you go through difficulties in life. Because people that have underlying envy towards you or animosity towards you, they will take opportunities for when you're feeling down to make you feel worse. But if those people really were there for you, then they would have been there to uplift you. But all they did was tear you down. And the fact that they took advantage of you and you have a disability like autism, it makes them a bad person.